And we have music again for our quilt-alongs. See, every single week I'm trying to make it better and better, and I actually spent a bunch of time setting everything up. So I actually spent a bunch of time making sure everything was set up before I hit that go live button. Now we gotta figure out what I missed. Because, let's be honest, this is me. You know I'm gonna miss something. You know I've got it. Yes, so Nikki, I did this yesterday. So I actually set everything up before yesterday's stream in order to get it working. So phone app is working again. I've got it working. Hey, I'm Estella, Impistry, Nikki, Jan Bear, and I saw Jessie Quill. Hi guys, how are you today? All right. Really quickly, I want to apologize. The YouTube video for last week is not up yet. Because of all of the internet issues, I had to download it as 3 separate videos. I spliced it all together, I did all the editing, and I saved it, but for some reason my software is not converting it to a format that I can upload to YouTube. So I'm still going to work on it a bunch. In fact, whenever I finish here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to get it working and not touch the computer for a couple hours and see if I can get that work taken care of. So hopefully this week I'll have both last week's video and this week's video up. Technology! Technology. Hi, Amber. How are you? All right, everyone ready to get into block number 9. Guys, we are almost 3/4 of the way through. This is block 9. 9. That means 3 more blocks in assembly and we're done. We are done. Fantastic. I know. Huzzah, right? Hey, Minion Mama. How are you today? I thought I saw you popping in too. Thanks. All right. Let's do this. So this is the hardest block. Now, we have a lot to pull from beginning, so there's actually not a lot to cut. But it is the hardest block. Wait, is Rosalind here? Oh, no, Rosalind is in, she's not here in the studio because she is leaving for Ireland today. So yeah, so Rosalind is not here. I'm by myself again. I even hung up the quilt in the quilt store and be like, hey, free things. This area, kids start school this week. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, no, it was just me. It was just me. All alone. All alone. All right, so we have, like I was saying, hey, Mandy, how are you? This is the hardest block of all of them, but it probably has the least amount of cutting because we are pulling lots of pieces from before. All right, so the first thing we want to do, make sure you have your fabrics. So let's go ahead and pull our fabrics. We need bright green. So I'm using my color swatch in here. So let's see, I think this one is bright green. Yes. All right, I have my bright green. I need white. Here is white, tan. Where is tan? Here is tan, brown. Now I only have one little swipe of brown left. Yellow. Where did my yellow go? Is this yellow? Or is that orange? Nope, that's gold. Oh, I see yellow over here. There's my yellow. Okay, yellow, blue. So blue is the darker of the two. And then gray. And then bright blue. Bright blue is the lighter of the two. Perfect. All right, let me turn these over because that's the order I'm going to go through them. Oh, they started last Thursday. Yeah, it's weird how like whenever we're at Gen Con, that's the week that public schools start in Indiana too. So it's like really weird how some schools start before other schools. In Ontario, we don't start until after Labor Day. So, but then of course they go until the end of June. So it's a trade-off, right? Hey, Road Dog, how are you? Kittens!
Grab your needles and head down to the sweatshop. I mean, factory.
Thank you so much, Kittens. I appreciate that resub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 13 months. Holy crap. You've been subbed to me for over a year. You realize we've been friends for almost 2 years now? Like in a few more months, it'll be 2 years. Maren, thank you so much for that host. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, schools, things. I know, right? Like, it feels like I've known you I've been friends with you forever. Like, that's the thing, right? Like Amacella. It feels like Amacella's been part of our community forever, but she just joined last Tuesday. So it's one of those things where time is weird, and it's crazy, and yeah. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right, so let's go back up, and let's pull all of our stuff ahead of time. So we have, if this block is being made, we want to pull a tan. All right, so let's get the Plumber Hero block. All right, we want to pull the tan from the Plumber Hero. All right, we've got all of that. I've got that block. Anything else from Plumber Hero? Yes, the brown. Okay, we've got the brown. And the 1.5 inch strip of blue. So this right here, we want to pull from Plumber Hero. Okay, and then I'm going to skip down to the combined strips because I have Plumber Hero open. Let's see, it doesn't look like I have any combined strips. Okay, so this one is done. I can set this aside. Next, we are going to pull the Mega Android. Yeah, see, and it's so weird just how different each area takes their schooling and their summer and stuff like that. It's interesting. Okay, we've got Mega Androids. We want the bright blue, so that's the lighter of the two. Okay, I've got my bright blue. Okay, anything else? The gray. So this is the 2.5 inch strip of gray. Okay, Mega Android, no. Mega Android, okay, the blue tan combined strip. Okay, the blue is the darker of the two. Okay, so I make sure that I want to pull this little piece right here as well as the blue tan combined strip. Okay, and I'll set that there. For Sky Knight. Thank you very much for Sky Knight for that resub. I super appreciate it.
Hi, subs and things.
Subs and things. Subs and things. Thank you for Sky Knight. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. For Sky Knight, while I'm on the road, of course, Mondays are the quilt along like they have been. Thursday evening and Sunday early morning are the 2 regular streams. So if you want to share some of your random useless information, if you want me to be able to read it and read it out loud, Thursdays and Sundays. That way if you want to pop in. Oh, nope, that's a light blue. Okay, making sure I've got all the pieces. Okay, anything else for Mega Android? We have the blue tan. Oh, there we go, we need the bright blue tan. Okay, so I do need that one. I do need the bright blue tan. And here's the bright blue tan combined. Perfect. And then anything else? Oh, and then the gray, bright blue combined. Gray, bright blue. That's the lighter of the two. And no, okay, gray, light blue. Perfect. Okay, so I've got that. And I think that's it for Mega, yep, that's it for Mega Android. All right, let's put everything else away. Yeah, see, and that's whenever in Ontario, they start school in September. It's interesting because it's weird because I feel like she should be out of school and her finals are like the last week of June. And then the first week of July is whenever Jordan's off school. But then, of course, she doesn't start till after Labor Day. So it feels weird that, like, I'm in Maryland right now and kids are starting. So, okay, next, puzzle tetrads. Let's pull our puzzle tetrads block. Okay, now the puzzle tetrads, I want a bright green. Okay, we have our bright green. And for those of you that are doing the entire quilt with me, I did all the math to where to pull and how to pull. It makes it so much easier. Okay, so let's see, bright green. Let me move this over here from puzzle tetrads. Now I need the yellow. Okay, I've got the yellow. Puzzle tetrads. Hunting dog. Oh, we go the bright green, yellow combined. So look through the little pieces. I do have a bright green yellow, so I want to set that aside. Thank you very much for picking up that pattern. I super appreciate that. There we are. We've got that. We've got that combined. Let's see. Puzzle tetrads. Bright blue and yellow combined. Bright blue, and there's the cha-ching on my phone. Bright blue and yellow. So I have one of each of those. And then let me find the strips right here. Perfect. Okay. Bright blue, yellow. Where was I? Gray and bright blue. The gray, there we go, gray, bright blue. Now, the gray, bright blue, you are pulling from two different blocks. You pulled that from the Mega Android, and you're pulling it from the Puzzle Tetrads. Is it? Yep, I only pulled half of it. There we go. Perfect. I've got all that. Nice, nice, nice. Oops. I hate it when I've got my Hey, Mr. Starna, how are you? I hate it when because I've got my letters so big. Whenever a big thing like that, the Stream Elements comes through, I can't see the chat of what happened and what people have said. Oh, here's another bright blue and gray. Let's make sure I've got those. First Guy Night, thank you so much for gifting that sub to Minion Mama. I super appreciate you. And I am glad you have your internets back. Okay, so, and then the blue and gray combined. Okay, so we've got the blue and gray. Let's make sure I've got all of those. Blue, gray, perfect. Here's our blue, gray. All right, we are done with this one, with the Puzzle Tetrads. Let's set that aside. Okay, we did, now Mega Android we did, Puzzle Tetrads we did, Plumber Hero, Bubble Store. Where is our Bubble Store block? Here. Here is our Bubble Store block. Okay, we need remaining 1.5-inch white strip. So we need this thing right here. I'm going to set that aside with our blue strip. Okay, anything else from Bubble Store? No. Okay, and I think that's everything for the top. Great. Okay, so now we need the white bright blue from the hunting dog. And it looks like we do not have the Dark Mage, Coins, or Alien Parasite. I don't see that in any of those. So I'm going to set those aside. Hey, Kabuki, how are you today? How are you, Kabuki? Let's see. This was the hunting dog. So the white, bright blue. Okay, white. I'm going to make sure I don't have any little pieces. Yep, I've got a little piece right there I want to pull. And then our white, bright blue. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I've got all of these I can set aside. Let's set aside all of that. Let's set aside this until I have everything to cut. Okay, now, this is the hard part. I didn't print my pattern out again. If I would have printed my pattern out, I would have crossed off all the numbers for what I just pulled. It's the easiest way. So if you printed your pattern at this point, you can cross off and say, okay, I don't need to cut a tan 2.5-inch strip. I don't need to cut a bright blue 2.5-inch. I don't need to cut a 1.5-inch white. You can mark those off, okay? But I didn't do that. So I'm going to go back and forth. So if you're doing the pattern from a screen, if you've downloaded the PDF and you're going from the screen, then this is how you do it. Okay, so we've got, let's start at the beginning. Cut the following fabrics. All right, we have a bright green 2.5-inch strip. I don't need to cut it. I have it right here, so I'm going to set that aside. 2 1.5-inch strips. So let's take a look up and let's see if the block is being made. Do not cut. Gray, tan, nope, I don't see green in any of those. So let's cut 2 1.5-inch strips off of the green. There we are. Let me heat my iron up. Now, this has been folded, so I want to make sure that I iron this. And thank you very much, Nikki. Let's iron out those creases. Now, it doesn't make a difference that I'm ironing a crease right here because, yes, I told you, Nikki. I told you I worked on it this morning. So you can actually see my exact view of how I'm doing it. I had a student last week, but unfortunately no one this week. Just as a reminder, if you are in the Maryland area, please feel free. I have 2 more weeks here in Maryland at this quilt shop. Please feel free to come by, say hi, stream with us. I know, I haven't forgotten anything so far, anything. And I'm just like, who is this person and what have you done with Tony? Okay, remember we want to cut off the very end of it, so we're squaring this up, so I'm using my 0, and then, oh yeah, oh, the students are invisible? Yeah. All right, so we're cutting 2 bright green strips for the 1.5, 1.5, 3. Now remember, if you want to sew along with us, if you want to do this pattern with us, exclamation quilt along, and it will send you to the pattern. It will send you to the block. Okay, this is my scrap. I'm going to start a little scrap pile up here behind my chat. Perfect. I'm going to set that aside right here. Okay, next for our whites. Whites, we need 1 2.5-inch strip. Oop, I don't see anything right here. Let's make sure I didn't pull a white anywhere. Nope, I do need to cut that 2.5-inch strip. Now the 1.5, I have this right here. So I don't need to cut the 1.5. So let's set that aside. But let's cut that 1.5-inch strip. Oh, you know what? I don't need to go to that yet. I still have this little piece left. All right. So let's cut a 1.5. First sky night, I already talked about that. If you wanted to use this random information, that is perfectly fine. But unfortunately, this is a professional quilt along that I am teaching classes around the world and then going back up on YouTube, so I cannot take the time to stop and read it. But if you want to share, it's fine. It just won't be for me. But you can, if you want me to read it, it's Thursdays and Sundays. Oh, I cut the wrong thing. All right, can I get a 2.5 out of this? I don't think so. Dang it. I was talking and cut the wrong thing. That's okay. It's okay because I have plenty of whites. I just need to iron this and lay it out to cut that 2.5. I'm going to use that 1.5 later on, so it's not a big deal because we still have our light mage and we have our whale, our killer whale. Oh my gosh, can I just tell you, that killer whale pattern is my favorite, my absolute favorite. Yeah, we still have 3 more blocks to go. So cutting at 1.5 instead of a 2.5 is not a problem. Oh yes, and the duck from Duck Hunt. That's inspired by Duck Hunt. I know, right? See, but I played so many hours of Bubble Bobble. That killer whale has killed me so many times. It is ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. All right. So let's square this up. And this is why I like the smaller stripology ruler, because it's easier to maneuver and to go around. There we are, 2.5. Okay, scraps over there. There we are, and I can put that on my stack. That is 2.5, right? 1, 2.5. Okay, so making sure. All right, let's put you over here. All right, next is tan. All right, I need a 2.5. Oh, wait. Yep, it's different model, same company. This is actually the Stripology Squared. So if you go to that link and then you Google Stripology Squared, you'll be able to find it. All right, so here I don't need to cut a 2.5 because I have that right there. Now it says I need 2 1.5s. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let me go up, and it says Cut one of the tans for 1.5. Okay, so I need to cut 1.5. So let me re-iron this. I do bring my stripology rulers with me whenever I teach classes. So if you ever want to try one out, if you take a class with me, either at a quilt store, sewing store, or at a convention, you can borrow my stripology rulers to practice with them. All right, so I said I needed 1.5, right? Oh, it looks like that's perfectly lined up already. There we are. Perfect. Okay, so let's set that aside there. All right, next is brown. I need 1 2.5-inch strip. I've got it right here. So I'll set that over there. And then 1.5. Let's take a look at the ones. Okay, I do have to cut 1.5, and look at this. This is all that's left of my brown. We are going to use every single bit of our brown in this quilt. You are not going to have any brown left over. There we are. Jan, the quilter, would be so proud of us. We are using every little bit of brown. There we are. And that is trash. Let me get that aside. And here's our brown strips. I'll put that over here. All right, after brown, we have yellow. Okay, I do have yellow. It says 1 2.5. Okay, I've got this. Let's set it aside. And 2 1.5. All right, let's go up and let's look at the 1.5. It looks like I still need 1 strip of 1.5. Okay, so let's open this up. Oh, it looks like I have not yet. Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot. So my yellow is actually a half cut. So they gave me a scrap piece, basically. So whenever I cut this, I need to cut 2 strips to count as 1, because whenever you're a professional quilter and you request fabric from a company for free and they send it to you, sometimes they'll just send you remnants, which is perfectly fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. So instead of cutting 1.5 like I normally would if this was a full piece, I'm going to cut 2. So if you are using fat quarters for your fabrics, if you're doing a standalone block, at this point you would cut 2 of everything. There we are. All right, and let's set aside our yellow fabric. And this is going into my strips. Perfect. All right, next, after yellow is blue. We don't need any 2.5-inch strips. And, oh, it looks like I already have a 1.5 cut. So let's go up and make sure that we don't need a 1.5 blue. Nope, we've already pulled it. We said do not cut additional strips of them. So blue is finished. Next, for gray, I already have my 2.5-inch strip cut. So we're going to set that aside. I don't need to worry about that. I need 1.5-inch strip. So let's go up. Oh, it says earlier do not cut the 1.5-inch strip. So gray is done. It is. No, it's not the camera. That's a good question for Sky Knight. In fact, let me go back and show you this yellow. So I chose this yellow as a mustardy yellow. So because if you take a look at the blocks that are in this quilt, the mustardy yellow works extremely well with all of them. So if you are making this quilt with me and you chose the Northcott Toscana fabrics, yes, it's more of a mustard yellow than a regular yellow, although you can really choose any yellow that you like. Okay, now, last but not least, we have our bright blue. So bright blue, we need 3 2.5-inch strips. Okay, I have 1 right here, so that's 1 less we're going to cut, so I need to cut 2 more. There we go. And for those of you that are at stores watching and sewing along, or if you're watching on YouTube, if you're wondering, what is this useless information thing? First Sky Knight is a member of our community who is amazing and fantastic, and he likes to come in and share useless information with us. And it's not useless, it's actually just random information. Some of it is amazing and interesting. No, I shouldn't say some, all of it. It is always amazing and interesting, and I love, love, love them. In fact, I look forward to it whenever he comes and gives us random useless information. It is awesome. Okay, so we need 3 1.5-inch strips. So let me scroll up. It says don't cut 2 of them, so I only need to cut 1. There we are. All right, we've got our 1. Perfect, and we're done with our bright blue. Okay, so we've got our fabrics done. We've got our blocks done. I'm going to take these and set them aside so they're out of our way. And then let's take a look at the next part. So cut all 1.5-inch strips in half. Okay, let me grab my more scissors. Now I'm only cutting the full ones in half. Okay, I know, right? For Sky Knight, isn't this the coolest blue? Like, I love this blue. It is one of my favorites. I may have chosen these 2 blues for the Mega Android block first, and then did the hues of all the other colors based upon these 2, because these 2 really are my favorite 2 colors. Although the purple, the purple that I picked, I love it so much. Okay, so that's in half. This is already a half one, so I'm just going to lay that down. This one is already a half one because remember it was the shortened one. So I'm going to lay that. We're going to lay this because we're only cutting the full ones in half. Oops, this is a full one. There we are. And this is a full one. There we are. Oh, this one's a half. Now remember, let's take the white that I picked is a weird one. You have to make sure that you have the right side. Okay, so that's the correct side is up now. Oops, I need to cut the greens in half. Yeah, it is so hard. If you are a sewer or a quilter, it is really, really, really hard to find a good purple and a good gray. Let me tell you, the Northcott Toscana line has amazing purples and grays. Like, seriously look at them. Seriously look at them. They are freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. All right. So with the 1.5-inch strips, and this is the same thing as we did last week. It's a little bit harder. So let me switch to the cutting cam because we're going to take one of these greens here. Okay. So with the bright green, we are cutting a 2.5 by 1.5. Okay, so let's line this up. So we're going to cut 2.5. Okay, we're going to cut this piece right here. That is scrap. We can set this aside. Now, I'm not putting this with the rest of my half pieces that I have, my half strips. I'm setting it aside in a different place than my other ones. So I'm not setting them in that stack. I'm setting them in a separate stack. Okay? All right, and then I want to take the brown. So let's find a brown half strip. Okay, and I'm going to be cutting another 2.5. There we go. Okay, and we're going to be combining these together. Where are, Uh-oh. Does anyone want to guess the one thing I messed up today? We knew it was going to happen. We know me. I cannot have everything go perfectly smooth. So what's the one thing? Oh, there's no chat on the screen? Oh, wait, nope, I did the wrong one. I did the wrong one. Sorry, that one, that one. Okay. What's the one thing that I would need at this point that I took out and I used and I didn't put back in my bag? Anyone have any ideas? Mini Mama got it. I have no pins. I have no pins. I have no clips. I have no nothing. So, here's what we're going to do. Luckily, my family lives a half a mile from here. So, here's how we're going to do this. We are going to, I don't need pins to do this. It's nice, but I don't need pins at this point. So, we're going to go ahead. No, because it was, words. What is her name? Oh my gosh, I am the worst. Not Vicky. Vicky owns the shop. Who is the lady that sold me my first machine and taught me all of my classes and did all of the things? It'll come to me. She's the one that saved a day last week. She's not working today. She's probably not watching. So, I'm going to run home and get pins after we cut all the pieces out and I lay them all out. So we're going to do something a little bit differently this week versus last week. So we are going to lay all pieces out. I'm not going to pin them, and then we'll take our break. And then while we're taking our break, I'm going to run and go get pins and come back again. And then we'll continue on with the pinning. Okay? Okay, let's do that. All right, so at this point, now if you don't have pins, it's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and just sew it together like that, which is what I'm going to do, just like when you're sewing your strips. It's only when you have seams that you have to use pins or you have to use clips in order to do it. All right, so we're going to take this brown and set this aside with the other strip. All right, so white and blue. So let's grab our white strip. Okay, let's grab our white one, and we need to cut a 1.5 by 1.5. There you go. Take this, set it aside. Okay, so we've got that. And then we need our blue, our single blue strip. Like, seriously, sometimes I think people just watch my Twitch stream just to see which things I forget and mess up. And that is why our introduction and our be right back of bloopers. All right, so, oh, you know what? Let me iron this little piece of white. I mean, I even remembered my iron this week. You know what? I wonder if those pops and crackles yesterday or whenever my hair hits the microphone. Wait, you saw what? You saw what? What would I do? What did I do? All right, here's the extra blue. We're going to set that aside. All right, so now set aside the remaining 1.5 inch strips. Perfect. Let's take these all and set them aside. Now, just so you know, you can see what I've done over here. These are my regular strips. These are the ones I've cut pieces from. So you see how I have them in 2 separate piles, and you'll see why after I finish cutting the main ones. Oh, you brought the iron. Yes. For Sky Knight, that is what's called trimming it up, squaring it up. Basically, because that little piece may not be perfectly straight. So you always cut a piece from the end in order to make sure you have a nice straight piece. That's actually a great question. Okay, so with the 2.5 inch strips, I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to flip them over because remember they're in the order that I need them. So from the green, I need one 4.5. Oh, look, is that a 4.5 inch? It is. I've already got one cut. And I need 2 2.5s and 3 1.5s. So 2 2.5s. There is 4, I'm sorry, 2 2.5s. And then there's 4 1.5s. So I'm going to take one away, put it with the green, and set it aside for later. And you see I have my nice big Martelli cutting mat. I ordered another one. I paid for this the way I would have it today. All right, let's set aside that green. Next is the whites. Okay, so white, I need 2 and 1. All right, because this is a brand new one I just cut, we're going to go ahead and iron this, make it nice and smooth. And in this case, for Skynet, you had asked why we trimmed the edges. This has selvage on it still. So the selvage is the part of the fabric that grips the rollers so that you can actually dye the fabric, so you can put the colors on the fabric. So that's why there's little holes in your selvage, because that's where it's gripped onto it so it can actually do the printing. We want to make sure we cut that off. There are some patterns out there that actually give you ways that you can use that selvage. There's also scrap. I mean, I saw a selvage dress once of a lady that just made a dress out of these little edges of selvage. I throw mine away. Okay, so we've got 2, and we only need 1 of these. So I'm going to set that aside. Now, with the white, remember what I said about the color? Because it's weird. It's hard to tell unless you really look at it. So I'm going to make sure that I lay it so all of my white goes up, so I don't have to worry about flipping or anything else. Okay, there's white. Next. Yes, a salvage apron. It's not good fabric to me though, Ministry. And that's the difference. It's not good fabric for me, so I don't mind throwing it away. Okay, tan, we need 1 of these. I already have one. And we need 2 1.5s. This is the nice thing about storing my fabric the way that I did, is I'm saving some time by not re-ironing it, because it's nice and flat and I don't have to worry about it. All right, let's set that aside. Next is brown. Okay, so we have our brown. All right, I do have to iron this though, because there are some little folds in there. For those of you that are part of my normal Twitch community, this Thursday evening, I am going to work on mats of holding and dice bags. Next Sunday, I'm going to be working on some more bling. In fact, I may be going shoe shopping tonight. All right, so a 2.5 inch. I'm heading up to the factory outlets and seeing if I can get an inexpensive pair of shoes to completely bling out. You guys gave me some really good ideas yesterday when we were doing our bling stream. All right, so I only need 1 of these. So I'm going to set 1 aside and put 1 with the brown I set aside there. All right, yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. All right. We need 1. Oh, we need 2 of those. I only have 1, so I guess I'm not going to be using that. Okay, so we need 1 2.5. I do need to square this up. And 2 1.5s. There we go. So this all goes over here. I'm just organizing all my fabrics over there. Now, I only need 1 of these. Let me get rid of this one and put it with my yellow. There we are. And then gray. Gray. I need 2 of these and 1 1.5. Stuff I don't have yet. All right, let's iron it. And if you are new to our quilt-alongs, if you put a comment in the chat, if I miss it, I apologize. I will just say it again, because I am only glancing at chat now and then. All right, so 2.5 and 1.5. Perfect. There we are. So I need 2 of these and 1 of these. So I'm going to take one aside. And we're going to set these aside. Whoops. I can't seem to pick it up. Man. And then there's my cut parts I can put over there. Lastly, okay, now comes the cutting. That was just a couple of pieces now and then. Now we have our blues. Okay? So let's go ahead and cut the way that we're used to cutting. So let me iron this out. Exactly, Nikki. If you put, you don't even have to at me. If you just write Quiltoni, it's in red and it pops up on my screen. So if you just say Quiltoni, it actually appears red on my screen and it's easy for me to see. There you are. Perfect. All right. I need, now, as you see, I have laid out 4 layers. Okay? So normally I cut by 2s. In this case, I'm cutting by 4s. Now, the first one needs 10. So I'm actually going to take this piece right here, and for the first cut, I'm going to cut 6. It's just going to make it so much easier. So I'm actually cutting 6 pieces at one time to make it efficient. Okay, so 4.5. There's 6. I'm going to take the rest of this and set it aside. So 6. And then if I cut 4 more, I'm now at my 10. Okay? So that is our 10 bright blues. Okay? Oh, are you playing yarn chicken? That's like bobbin chicken. Going to the very end and hoping there's enough yarn. That is yarn chicken. All right, 12, 2.5. So now we're cutting it, remember, in groups of 4. So 4, 8, 12. Okay, so 4, 8, 12. And now I need 13 1.5. So there is 4, 8, 12. Oops, and that is our scrap. So 4, 8, 12 of those. We only need 1 more. So let's cut it from here. 1 more. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So, oh, I only need 1, not 2. So I'm going to take one of them, set them aside with this, and there, and that over there. Now, all of our solid pieces are done and ready to go. So I'm going to set those aside. Next is all of the combined. Oh, you lost on bobbin chicken last week? Oh, man. That, yeah, playing chicken with that stuff, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Okay, so now we're going to start sewing our strips together. All right, so let's sew our strips. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at our combined and these. So let's take a look at it. Bright green to tan. In fact, let me group these and lay them out so I can see exactly what I am working with. There we go. Okay, so no bright green to tan, so I do want to take a bright green and a tan. Oh, man, I know. Whenever you lose chicken, bobbin chicken, yarn chicken, whatever, it's only by like that much. It's never by like a whole bunch. It's always by like just barely getting it. And it's yeah, very frustrating. All right, then bright green to white. I don't have any bright greens in here, so let me take another one here. So bright green to white. Now, the only white strip I have is the remaining white strip here. okay? Because that's the only option, that is what we do. All right, so bright green to white. And the reason why I say that is you'll see later on what I mean. If it's the only strip, yes, you use the remnant for what you cut before. Okay, so bright green to yellow. You notice how I'm not taking any of the bright greens from over here from the remnants. Because I have more than one, it will tell me if that's what I want to do is use the remaining one. Okay, to yellow. So let's grab one of our yellows. Okay, let's see, white to bright blue. Oh, white to bright blue. It's right here. I already have it. All right, I've got my white to bright blue. Okay, tan to yellow. I forgot to look over here. See, now before on page number 1 where it says pull these and don't cut them, at this point I would have gone to page 3 and marked them off. Not that, hey, I've already got them together, I don't have to sew them together. Yeah, it's not a goof, I just didn't look. But because I'm working on the screen and I didn't print it off, that's why I'm going back and forth. And this is why this is the hardest block in all of them. Okay, because it has so many pieces. Tan to yellow. Okay, it's not in there. So tan, here's our tan to yellow. Okay, tan to bright blue. Oops, I've got that one right here. Tan to bright blue. Oh, I skipped the tan to blue. I want to make sure I put them in the right order. So tan to blue is right here. Let's see, tan to blue, tan to bright blue, brown to bright blue. All right, so we're going to take our regular brown because it doesn't say the leftover brown. So brown to bright blue. Okay, yellow to bright blue. Thank you so much for picking up that pattern. I appreciate you. Oh. Bright green, yellow combined from puzzle tetrads. I did not pull that one. I did not. That's why. Okay, so this bright green to yellow combination. 1, 2, 1, 2, this. I had in the puzzle tetrads. I wasn't supposed to do that, and I didn't pull it. I missed it. I missed it. I missed it. I missed it. There we go. Hey! There it is. Because it says up top, pull the bright. How did I miss that one? Bright green, yellow, puzzle tetrads. Bright blue. Oh, you know what? Oh, I missed all those. I missed pulling these. Lethal Bacon, thank you so much for that resub. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I forgot to pull these. All right, so I forgot to pull the bright green, yellow, puzzle tetrads, bright blue, yellow. Okay, bright blue, yellow. I've got that. Bright blue, yellow, gray, bright blue. I think I pulled that one. Because I remember to pull that one. Yes, I did pull that one. Okay. And then blue and gray. Yeah, I pulled the blue gray and the bright blue gray, but I didn't pull any of them with the yellow. There we go. Seriously. Okay, so let's go back to the combines. So let's see, bright green, yellow. I already pulled that. It's there. Tan to blue, tan, brown, yellow to bright blue. Okay, so what was the last one? Brown to bright blue. Great, I got the brown to bright blue. Yellow to bright blue. I don't need to lay it out because I've got it right here. Okay, gray to bright blue. I don't need to do it because I've got it right here. Bright green to bright blue. Okay, here's my green. Green to bright blue. Okay? And gray to blue is right here. So you should have left the remaining half strips of blue, brown, and green, and yellow. So those are the ones that you should have remaining. I'm going to go ahead and fold these and set them here so they are out of my way. Hey, Copper Beardy, how are you? There we are. We've got this. We've got that. Perfect. So those are my extra pieces. And this is what I need to sew. So let's get some sewing done. All right, now, I did not sew my pieces that I combined yet. So my little pieces right here. So let's go ahead and get those sewn first. And then I'll free them by sewing together my strips. And then we will cut all of our pieces from those. Once we cut our pieces from those, I will lay all of the strips out. I'm not going to combine them because I don't have any pins. Hey, Teffy, how are you? So I'm just going to lay them out. And then we are going to take our break, our 10 to 15 minute break, while I literally go get some pins so that we can do those combined strips. All right, now, these, it doesn't make a difference which way you iron those, so I will just iron them any old which way when I finish. You do not need pins whenever you are combining strips. So I am doing what is called stripping. That is when you just take two strips, you put them in your sewing machine, you have right side to right side facing. So remember we talked about before in previous streams, fabric. This is the right side. This is the wrong side. The right side is the side that has the color saturation, the pretty side. The wrong side is the side that you don't want showing. Pure and simple, right? So I have right sides to right sides, and I'm just sewing them. Now, stripping takes practice. So you're not going to go as fast as I do the first time you put two strips into your machine. I just naturally know how to line them up because I've done it so often. So make sure, go slow, take your time until you're comfortable with doing it. There we are. Next, we have our tan to yellow. And just like with the quilt-along streams in the studio, we are playing pretzel. I was thinking today, I was like, there's no reason why I can't play pretzel here in the studio. No reason at all. So I set it up. Oh, good, good, Mr. Starna. Okay, so you lost the chicken, but you had a scrap piece that you could use instead, so you didn't have to go out and buy all new stuff, new yarn. That is great news. There we go. All right, two more to do. There we go. Yeah, and you can always do that too. You can always just use a different color yarn and make it interesting, make it look interesting. All right, one more. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think this block has more colors and color combinations than any of my regular quilt patterns. That's how many it has. Okay, we're going to take our scrap and we're going to put it in to free these. And now what I'm going to do is cut all these in half. So I'm going to separate it, fold it in half, line it up, and then cut it in half. Now, I did make the decision sometime, I don't know if we're going to do it right away after the quilt along ends, but sometime between October and December, we're going to do a stream on what to do with your scraps. And I'll put that on YouTube as well. Yeah, I know, Nikki, I know. I know, it's Jan Bear's job to yawn because technically his name is Yawn Bear. There we go. Let's line this up. All right. This is the last one. Now, I like to line mine up on the left. So this is the cut area over here. It just makes it easier. All right. So I'm going to set this aside right here for now. So first thing I want to do is iron these pieces. So these two little pieces that I did. There we are. So those are ready. And then I want to go down my list. So first, let's do the brown and bright blue. So where is brown and bright blue? There we go, right here. Now, because they're so, now normally I just go in the order of what I have them. First, Sky Knight, thank you so much for gifting that sub to Mistress Darna. I appreciate you. And just as a reminder for the Quilt Along giveaways, we will be doing them Thursday evening. We don't stop what we're doing to do giveaways during these streams. So if we hit that sub, and it looks like we did, that sub goal, that's an additional giveaway that we're going to do on Thursday. Thank you again for Sky Knight. I appreciate you. So normally I just go in the order that they're there because there's not that many. But in this case, I want to make sure that I do everything. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything or else it's going to cause issues later on. So I ironed the seams in separate directions. Basically, I took it and I ironed them up. So in this case, my seam is going towards the brown. In this case, my seam is going towards the bright blue. I'm going to take my brown and my bright blue and lay it down, and then take this one and lay it on top again. Just like this. And I just realized the picture that's in this, thank you so much for subbing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. I just realized the picture that's in this is one of the original pictures and she didn't update it. But that's okay. That is okay. So you get the same idea though. Basically you take one and you lay it down and then you lay the other one on top. And then let's line this up. Let's make sure everything is nested perfectly. Because with nesting, we want to make sure that our seams go in opposite directions. In this case, you see how those seams are pointing in different directions? So if I were to pin and sew this, oh, it needs a new sound? Yeah. If I were to pin and sew this, I would get a perfect point every time. But for right now, we're just going to be cutting it. And it's going to allow us to cut it in sets of 2. With seams going in opposite directions. Let me lay that up there. Perfect. All right, so we need to cut in groups of 2. So there's 2 and 2. Perfect. All right, this is my scrap. And then I separate them into 2 different piles. This pile, the seam goes towards the bright blue. Oh! Was that the, oh, did someone purchase a mug? I can't tell. No, because it was the zombie thing, right? Oh, was it a mug on there? Oh, Copper Beardy, thank you. I apologize. I heard the sound, and so I thought someone subbed to my YouTube channel. It was mug, not YouTube. Oh, Copy Beardy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for picking up a Words Are Hard mug. As you can tell, words are definitely hard with me. Yeah, words are definitely hard with me. Yes, I do need. You know what? We need to find a sound for the store. I absolutely agree. Let's find a new sound for the store. It's funny because those are the defaults for Streamlabs, which is why it's the same. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate you, and thank you, Copper Beardy, for picking up a mug and putting $5 into my pocket. I super appreciate it. Okay, so these are done. I can set them aside. Next, bright green and tan. Bright green and tan. Now, this is one of those ones that had an asterisk. The asterisk means I'm only cutting one. I only need one of them. And I'm never using it again. Oh no, and only in this one. So if it's a standalone, because I only need a single one, you can do it the same way that I did those two at the top. But the reason why we're cutting strips and we're not doing those standalone ones is because I'm going to use these in later blocks. Okay, so green and tan. All right, so we've got one set of two. Oops, 1.5. Yes, one set of 1.5s for 2 total. There we go. Okay, set that aside, and this is done. Where am I putting these? Oh, I put it up here. Let's put it down here on the side. That makes it easier for me. Next, bright green and white. That is this one right here. You know, I was thinking I should buy one of those Words Are Hard mugs and give it to Corgi Candy, because she was the one that designed it. I think she would like that. Okay, so green and white. Green and white. There we go. Okay, so I need 2 sets of 2.5. And then 1 set of 1.5. There we go. And we're going to split these and then set them aside. Okay, next is bright green and yellow. Now, I already have a bright green and yellow. So I'm just going to pick this up. I don't need to iron this. I need one set of 1.5 inch. Okay, and then here's my leftover from before. I'm going to keep it with here and set that aside. Oops, I almost put them in the wrong area. White and bright blue. I already have that too. Here is my white and my bright blue. I need a set of 1.5s. Thank you so much for being here for Sky Night. I appreciate you. All right, 1.5, perfect. Set that aside. Oh, forgot to set that aside too. And then these, put there. And then I've got tan and yellow. Here is my tan and my yellow. So let's iron this. With the Adventurer, there are a lot of little tiny pieces. Lots of little tiny pieces. There we are. So this is tan and yellow. So tan, yellow, I need 2 sets of 1.5. There we go. Perfect. Let's set that aside. Tan and blue. So this is tan and blue. Right here. I need 2 sets of 1.5. I should start remembering to like lower it down, and it's easier to cut. There we are, 2 sets. This can go with my extra. There we go. And that can get set aside. Where was I? Tan and bright blue. So that's this right here. I need 1 set of 1.5. There we are. Separate them. Yellow and bright blue. There we are. So yellow and bright blue, I need 1 set of 1.5. Oops, let's bring it on down so it's easier to cut. All right, this one I do have to trim it up before I cut my 1.5. Sometimes you have to trim it up, sometimes you don't. When in doubt, trim it up. If you're not sure, trim it up. Okay, and I separated those. Okay, so yellow, bright blue, gray and bright blue. So here's my gray and bright blue. I need 1 set of, you know what, I'm going to see if I can get them all from here. If not, then I'll use the other one too. 1 set of 2.5s and 3 sets of 1.5s. Okay, so 1 set of 2.5, and then there's 1, 2, nope, I can't. And that's why we had to pull them both from both blocks. So there's that, 2.5, 1.5, 1.5, and let's cut another 1.5. There we go. And then this I'm going to set aside. Oops. I forgot. This is set up right. Okay, make sure I put them in the right piles. There we go. Wonderful. All right, that was gray and bright blue. Bright green and bright blue. Oh, it's this one right here. Bright green, bright blue. I know there's a lot for this block. There are a lot of different pieces, lots of things. Any questions on, oops, I almost did it towards the bright blue again, on cutting these pieces out? Anything up to this point? There we are. Let's lay this out. And then the green and bright blue, we need 2 sets of 2.5 and 3 sets of 1.5. So 2 sets of 2.5 and 3 sets of 1.5. 1, 2, 3. And that uses our entire combined strip. Thank you, Nikki. And we did check it. The discount code is working again. They also do have the mini travel irons. They have officially launched them, although they are back ordered because the demand has been amazing. Amazing. All right, next. Gray and blue. This is our last set of strips we are cutting. So 1.5. There we go. And that is it. Perfect. All right, it's time to lay pieces out. So let me take my cutting things and set them aside. Oh, fantastic, Mrs. Starna. That is awesome. It is finally finished. That is fantastic. Seriously. Okay, so these are the extras. I'm going to take these and set them aside. I'm just going to put them, let's put them up here, out of the way. Let's take all of my scrap. I'm going to throw away all of the scrap stuff over here in the trash can. And then I put all my pieces up there. That way they're kind of out of the way. All right, so what I'm going to do at this point is lay all of this out in a way that I can easily grab it. So whenever you see me laying things out on the mat, I'm going to be taking from this area. So this is actually one of the most important steps because you want to set yourself up for success. So you want to be able to easily pull the pieces and easily find them. Now remember, unlike other blocks, I am not going to be pinning as I'm laying out because I forgot my pins. So instead, I am going to be reaching over, oops, and just laying them out for right now. There we go. If there's only 2 pieces, I'm just putting them together. If there are more than 2 pieces, I'm splitting up the seams to different ways. There we go. Okay. There we go, and this has a lot of, look at all those pieces. There are so many pieces for this one. There are a lot of different pieces. Okay, let's do it. Let's start laying them out. So I'm gonna start with the bottom. It's gonna be easier for me to go row number 9 and then work my way up. So row number 9, and I'm actually going to just highlight that one area, okay? So row 9, there. Now I am going to group them in groups of 2. Okay, so I'm going to put them in groups of 2 because these are the 2 that I'm going to be sewing together. I'm going to be pinning together and sewing together. So I'm going to be grouping them in 2s. So when I get to row 7 and row 8, I have 2 horizontal pieces. I'm just, you know what? Let's skip ahead. Let's just skip ahead and do that right now. Because that's like skipping ahead to do that. So row number 7, we've got this, because I don't need pins for this. I need my tan and blue towards the blue, because my arrow goes towards the right, towards the blue. Okay, perfect. Row 8, I need a solid white and a brown and blue towards the brown. Okay, actually brown and bright blue towards the brown, just like that.
Thank you for subscribing to Quilt.
Thank you so much for that sub. I appreciate it. Abby, thank you. Abby Fabby, thank you so much.
Thanks for 5 months of great streams.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so I have my fingers on these sides because I don't have any pins. I have to remember which side I'm sewing or else I'll mess it up. And let's be honest, we know me. I will mess it up. I will mess it up. If you've ever taken a English paper piecing class from me, something that I advise for the ones that you're getting, before you actually start sewing, hold it and have it stay at the top. And then that way, that's the side that you know you're going to be sewing. Because I've messed it up. I have messed it up many times. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's separate these. And I'm going to go ahead and iron these, and then we're going to lay them out. Now, as you see, I did not use pins on these. It's because there were no seams that had to match up. So you don't need to use pins on ones like this, because there's no seam I had to make sure was perfect. I just had to make sure the whole thing's lined up. No, Mr. Starna, this quilt is actually not going to be for sale because this is a professional quilt-along. You are not going to be able to purchase this quilt. So if I were to sell this quilt, it would probably be in the thousands because of how much work goes into it. Okay, so in this case, let's go ahead and lay these back out again. All right, let's start over again. I'm on row number 9. I've got these 2 pieces. Let me move this aside so it's out of my way for my laying out. All right, next, brown and bright blue. Now, in this case, I need to match up my seams. Mr. Starn, you can take a look at that site right there. It has all the quilts I do offer for sale and their prices. So in this case, we're going down towards the bright blue. So the next one, I need to go up towards the brown. So just like that. So in this case, whenever I go to sew these together, my seams are opposite. And because they're opposite, I know I'm going to have a perfect point every single time. No, just quilts. She did it. She said the word. She said quilts, exclamation quilts. Thank you. It's okay, Nikki. So she had said the word quilts earlier and it popped up and she had it. So it's just through the website. You can take a look at it. All right, and then this one is a 4.5. Perfect. So at this point, if you are sewing along with me, you should just be laying the pieces out, keeping an eye on your seams and the direction that they are going. Okay, now we're going to have a lonely little piece right here. We decided last week that this lonely little piece right here, it's okay, because this lonely little piece went to Gen Con with all those people. And this lonely little piece needs to be alone for a while. So it's perfectly okay to have a piece that you can lay out that's not grouped together with another piece. Okay, row number 8. And here's my only brown piece. Oops, there we go. And then I need this one. Now, this is why I like to skip ahead and do it, because I like to lay these out in groups of 2. So if I didn't do this combined diagonal piece, I would be stuck at this moment. Okay, and then I've got this. Oops, and then white. I don't have to worry about if the white is the correct way or not, because I checked it before I laid them down. And another lonely piece, which is perfectly okay. All right, row number 7. Okay, green and bright blue towards the green. Where are my green and bright blues? There we go, towards the green. And then brown and green. And then white and green. So this is towards the brown, so I need to go towards the green with the white and green. Remember, we always want to go in opposite directions when we're laying our seams out. Okay, so this is going down to the seam is pointing towards the green. So we need to go towards the white with our white and blue. Oh, look at that, perfect. And then down towards the green with a green and tan. Okay, and then we have our other combined piece right here. Now this needs to go up towards the tan and blue. I ironed it so it's actually going down towards the green, so I'm just going to re-iron this. If your seams are going in the opposite direction, it's okay. It is perfectly okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is iron the wrong side. So I'm going to iron my seam on the wrong side. I'm going to flip that over. And then I'm going to iron it on the correct side, just like this. Perfect. And then now my seam is pointing up with the direction that I want to go. All right, and let's do this. Perfect. And then that one right there. All right, row number 6. Now, for those of you that are taking a look at my website, because the website was brought up, at this moment, I do not have any actual, oh, here's another one. I'm going to re-iron the seam. I do not have any actual quilts for sale because I am on the road between Gen Con and Dragon Con. So the quilts that I am selling at this moment are actually pre-orders with guaranteed delivery by Christmas if you're in North America. And after New York Comic Con, at that point, I will make those quilts or fulfill from whatever I still have in my inventory. Because I cannot take quilts out of my inventory, let's see, towards the gray, at this moment because I am in my busy season at conventions and I need to have things at conventions. If I don't have quilts at conventions, people don't see what I can do. And they don't see examples of the patterns. Here we are, the blue. And then this blue. Perfect. All right, row number 5. Nikki, has my mic popped or crackled at all today? Let's see, green. Because yesterday's stream, it was doing it a bunch. Okay, this is towards the green. I need to go towards the, whoa, 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 whoa. Did I not cut the right amount of green and white pieces? 2 sets. I think I only cut 1 set. Yep, I only cut 1 set. That's not a problem. We can fix this. Okay, so I think it's my hair was hitting it when it popped, but that's okay. All right, green and white. All right, so I need to cut another. So if you realize that you've cut the wrong amount, just grab it and recut it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. That's not a goof. That is not a goof. A goof is whenever I sew things wrong. Look at Nikki adding to the goof counter when she doesn't need to. That's not a goof. You and Monkey, I swear, you guys love to do that. Okay, so this is towards the green. Let's see, 9, 8, 7, 6. This is row 5. So I need to go towards the green as well. And lay that back down. Okay, and then this one. Okay, fine. Uh-oh. Shh. Shh. This doesn't count. Oh, I grabbed the, oh, that's funny. And I grabbed the ends instead of, hold on, where's my green? Did I mess up? No, I didn't. For the green, what did I need? I needed 1. Oh, it's right here. I grabbed the wrong one. Okay. No, I just grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the end. Look, I grabbed the end instead of the single one I cut. That's funny. That's actually really funny that I did that. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Oh no, this is normal. This is normal, Mrs. Darna. This is how my streams normally go. I mess up my own patterns all the time. I flip pieces and I do things even with my own stuff all the time because I'm a little all over the place. It's just how I am and who I am. Which is why I joke whenever I'm at conventions, I need my minions because I need them to take care of me. Or else I would forget to eat, I would forget to drink water, I'd forget so many things. There we go. Okay, a green and blue. Okay, and then solid green. I put them away, didn't I? I did. Oh my gosh. I totally just put them away. Okay. I put away all of the cut pieces, and then I put the leftover in here. I mixed up what it was. There we go. I knew what I did the moment that I saw that. All right, so we've got here, we've got that. Now, this is towards the greens. The next meets towards the yellow. There we go, and then tan. And then blue and tan. Oh, this needs to be a light blue and tan. You see how easy it is to flip the pieces? I almost put it like this, and that would have been upside down. Now, it is easy to fix if you flip pieces, if you catch them early enough. Last week, Rosalind was here and then posted a picture of her block, her finished block in the Discord, and somebody noticed that she flipped her last row. Luckily, it's the last row, and it's super easy to fix. So she fixed it and then reposted the picture, and it looks amazing. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I'm not sure, I always count the pieces, just to make sure I have enough pieces out. All right, this is row number 3. There we go. My nails I use as tools of quilting. It's easy to separate the fabrics with the nails. All right, so towards the tan, so we need to go towards the yellow with tan. Now, this piece right here, you notice how this piece right here, you have 2 tans like this, and then the green and yellow. You may think to yourself, Tony, why didn't you just do a horizontal piece of a tan and then combine the green and yellow? Well, I'll tell you. The reason is there is no other place in this entire quilt that a green and yellow appears. But there's lots of places that green and tan and yellow and tan appear. So even though I could have made it easier by chunking the other way, it is actually easier in the long run because of the way you're cutting the pieces. So that is why I did the design choice that I did. Okay, and let's do the yellow. So if you buy my book and you design your own, that's something to keep in mind whenever if you decide to do the Quiltoni method and you chunk. All right, so tans, we need to go towards the blue. Same thing with this one. There is nowhere in this quilt you have a yellow and blue piece, but there's lots of yellow and tan and blue and tan. So it's another choice that I made in order to make your life easier. And my life easier, let's be honest. Okay, tan and night blue. And background. And blue and gray. And then blue. Perfect. Okay, row number 2. Go. You can't see that little piece right there because it's in there, I know, but you'll be able to see the rest. Let's see, green and blue, and green, and let's separate this, green, green and yellow, 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 yellow and tan. This is towards the tan, so we need to go towards the blue. Okay, and then blue. And then a big blue. All right, that's row number 2. We're almost done. Row number 1. There we are. We've got that. And that one. And blue on top. Blue on top. That's towards the blue. That's towards the green. So this needs to go towards the blue. And then there. And then there. And then there. There we go. We have everything laid out. All right, now you may notice you have a bunch of pieces left over. I should not have a solid piece left over. Oh, I know what I did. Because I messed that up. Yep, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, actually, let me put it with my other green. There we go. It's fine. Because I only needed an odd number. Let me just double check really quickly. I forgot to pull the single. Yes, I needed 3 and I forgot to take 1 away. Okay, so then you should only have combined pieces. And that's perfectly okay. Like I said, I'm going to have a stream later on that is going to show you different ways that you can sew these together to make a quilt out of all of the scrap pieces. Now, of course, the quilt is not going to be large. It's going to be a lap-size quilt, but it'll be cool. You can use all your scraps up, and you can take care of that. All right, so here's all of my extra pieces. I'm going to take these and set these aside back here. That way I know they're out of the way, and I know I have them. So at this point, we would pin everything. But I don't have pins. Because this is me. I mean, let's be honest. This is me. So our break is actually going to be a little bit earlier today. So we're going to take our break right now while I go and grab some pins so that I can pin all of these. And then we'll start our sewing. And we'll start our assembly. So a little bit early for break time. I know we're not used to being at this early. It's used to be like 20, 30 minutes from now. But take your break, stretch, use the bathroom, drink some water, have a snack. And we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes as soon as I have enough chance to run to the house, grab some pins, and run back again. And while we're doing this, enjoy some bloopers. Okay, let's get back to this again. Hi, guys. Yeah, I was back a bit ago, and that's how close it is. It's fine. I have pins. I have pins. Oh wait, where's my phone? I left my phone because I need to do this so that I can do that. Hi. Yes. So let's go ahead and do some pinning, and I'm going to sit for this because normally I stand because I go through and I do all this, but I'm just pinning, so it's fine. All right, so let's go take a look. This is row number 9. So I have my pattern, and I'm actually going to look at just one row at a time so I know which way it's going. All right, who remembers? Let's see if you've lost your information because we've had a week off. If this is row number 9, if the arrow goes to the right, so the arrow is pointing that way for row number 9, which piece am I picking up to put over the other piece? So am I going right over left, or am I going left over right? So if the arrow is pointing to the right, which way am I doing my folding and pinning? Which way, which way, which way? I think everyone fell asleep. We took our break too soon. Everyone fell asleep. I know, right? The do. Right over left. Thank you, Jose. Yes. If the arrow goes to the right, we're taking our right. We're flipping it over the left. And we're pinning it into place. So I'm going to pin this over here. Now, this does not have any seams to it, so I'm just going to put some pins on the edges. All right, so this one, right over left. Now, in this case, I do have a seam. And I want to make sure that this seam lines up. So see how that goes towards the bright blue and that goes towards the brown? So I want to make sure that these seams line up. So I'm going to line them up. And the first thing I'm going to do is put a pin in the center. And that's going to keep those lined up perfectly where that seam matches. And then we'll put pins on the edges and lay it in place. All right, so right over left and pin it into place. So after we finish all of this pinning, our next step is going to be sewing. And we will actually be able to start sewing all of our pieces together. All right, so with row number 1, we do have our lonely little piece. We do have our piece right here that is, oh, Jose, that's funny. We do have our lonely little piece that's gone to a really big convention and is peopled out and needs some alone time. It's perfectly fine. We're going to give this lonely little piece some alone time. So we're just going to set that aside right there. Now the next pass through, we are going to include that piece because we always want to make sure that if we have a single piece by itself in any pass through, that we include it in the next pass. So that is super, super important to include it in the next pass. All right, so this is row number 8. And row number 8, I'm flipping, it has an arrow that's pointing to the left. So the arrow is pointing to the left. So I take the left over the right and I pin it into place. So whichever way that arrow is going, that is the one that you pick up. So if it's pointing to the left, you pick up left over right. If it's pointing right, you pick up right over left. And the reason is I am helping you become efficient and do this faster, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to sew it just like it is, just like it's laying down. And then after we sew it, we're going to pin it. I'm sorry, iron it. Oh my gosh. Words, 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 words. So we are going to iron it. So after we pin it, we're going to keep it laying the same direction. And then we're going to just iron it just like that. So then that way we don't have to go back and forth and see which way we have to iron those seams. So when I first started pixel quilting many years ago, I used to pick 2 pieces up, sew them together, and bring back here, and then look to see which way it was supposed to go, to see which way my seams are supposed to iron, and then go back and iron it. It used to take me, I would say, about a week to do a single lap quilt. It would take me about a week to get it together. Because of the efficiencies and because of the shortcuts and everything that I have discovered and everything that I do with my patterns and all these cute little, hey, do this and this and this, I can make a quilt start to finish in a day. Complete start to finish in a day. Okay, so let's see, we've got that. All right, and row 6, left to right. So our arrow is pointing to the left. So we're going to pick up that left piece and flip it over the right. So whenever, see, left over right. There we go. Whenever I'm at home, I have to constantly look at my pattern and refer to it. So when I have a printed pattern, I'll actually lay my pattern out, and I'll have another sheet of paper that I put over top of it, and I'll actually do it line by line in order to check the pattern to make sure everything is correct. So left over right. And pin it into place. Nikki's going to have nightmares tonight. Left over right, pin it into place. Because she hears it every Monday. Now in this case, row number 5, arrow goes to the right. So we're going to pick this up and we want to go right over left and pin it into place. Uh-oh. Did I bump this? Nope. Okay, good. It's good. That is my, my sound, my signal sound, if my laptop isn't charging. But it's charging. It was just having an issue. We know how electronics are. Sometimes they have issues. Quilt Thulu? Oh my gosh. You just gave me an idea. I should totally make a Cthulhu with red tentacles for braids. You know what? I may make that next year in May for the St. Jude. I should totally do that. I should make a Cthulhu with red. Yes, okay. Because I already know what I'm doing for St. Jude this year. I am making a St. Jude logo that's been pixelated. So that's what we're giving away this holiday season. All right, row 4 to the left. So it's going left. So left over right and pin it into place. So next May, I need an idea for a quilt because we didn't reach the point. So I'm not accepting cross-stitch squares at this moment. So yeah, I should totally do that. All right, Nikki, don't let me forget. Don't let me forget, next May, when we do St. Jude, I will be making a Cthulhu with red tentacles to symbolize braids. Yes, but if we meet our goal in the winter season of St. Jude, then I am totally going to do it for 2021. I will accept cross-stitch squares for 2021. And that is why Dreaming in Ada has already gotten started on some squares. She is working ahead and banking on the fact that we're going to raise enough money in winter. Oops, there we are. Oops, there we go. To the left. And Lonely Peas. And row number 3. Row number 3 is to the right. So I'm picking up our right piece over our left piece and pinning it into place. So our goal for our May was $10,000. And we only hit 8. So I think what I may do is take a look at how much we combined last year total and put it for $1,000 more and see if we can beat that in winter. Although, so it's basically going to continue on with our current campaign. So right over left, pin it into place. I'm batting around some ideas. And there's going to be, I'm probably going to do what a few people like Imperial Girl and, well, Imperial and Fierce Kittens does. And I'm probably going to do themed streams. So if we hit a certain dollar amount that we've raised, I'll do a themed stream. Go. Perfect. And row number 2 is left over right. So left over right and pin it into place. Why are you beeping at me, computer? See, now it's not charging anymore. There we go. Now it is. I'm sorry for that lovely sound that you hear when that happens. My charger is very, very finicky. Really? I'm not touching you. Nothing is being moved. Why are you being finicky? Seriously. Yes. Unfortunately, Nikki, I have plans for squad streaming, but unfortunately at this point, I can't squad stream. So, Not an option for right now. If they ever do open it up to affiliates, then I'll be able to squad stream. And we have all sorts of sewing craziness that we can do with our squad streaming. So left over right, because we're still on row 2 and our arrow is going to the left. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you notice how every time a new song comes on, the Pretzel shares a link in the chat. If you like any of the songs that are being played by Pretzel, please type in that URL, the URL that you see. If you are watching live, please click on it. Let's support Pretzel, and let's take a look at the music that we do like. It's a wonderful way to have royalty-free music that is allowed, and can guarantee that our channel is not going to get muted here on Twitch or on YouTube. Okay, so right over left, because this is row number 1. And we are going to pin it into place. There we go. And this is right over left. And pin it into place. Now, I am going to cheat. I need to get this whole thing closer to my machine. So I am going to do this. Whoops. I moved that. I don't want to move that. I don't want to move that. We're going to take this whole thing and slide it down. And then I'm going to pick up my chair and move my chair down. Ha-ha. Oh. Yes, I think my braids hit it. Okay, it did crackle as I reached up. Is it crackling now? Because my braids aren't hitting it. But yeah, I think one of my braids hit it. Sorry, sorry. I gotta be more, I have to be careful. I have to be more careful. I have to be more better. All right, let's move this over here. All right, let's do some sewing. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna reach over, I'm gonna grab row number 9, and I'm gonna sew it. The movement in general, okay. And that makes sense. I will be on the market for a, whoops, my braid hit it, sorry. I will be on the market for a better one. Eventually. Eventually. It depends how Dragon Con and New York Comic Con go. All right, all I'm doing is I'm lifting up my presser foot, putting in my pieces, and sewing it. So in this case, this is row number 8. I'm going to sew the first one, and then I'm going to cut to separate the pieces, and then I'm going to use my Gypsy Quilter cutting gizmo. And the cutting gizmo is just a really cool way of separating your pieces. Let me bring my pins back again. And as you see, I separated them. I'm pulling my pins out, and I'm doing that. Now remember, do as I say, not as I do. Please, 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 do not sew over your pins. Sewing over your pins is a horrible, horrible habit that I do. Thank you so much for picking up that pattern. I appreciate it. Sewing over your pins is a horrible, horrible habit that I do. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. You can, if you hit a pin with your needle, you can set the timing off on your machine. You can break your needle, and the little pieces can go everywhere, including in your eye. You can do all sorts of things. Please, 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 please do not sew over your pins. Unfortunately, it is a bad habit that I have, and it's not one I'm going to be breaking anytime soon. So just ignore this fact when you see me sewing. All right, so let's separate and pull pins out. After I finish sewing all 9 rows, the next step is going to be to iron them and repin them again. Okay, there's row 8. Now, the thing I always mess up sometimes that I have to constantly remind myself is whenever I'm putting a new row into the machine, I have to make sure that I only put one piece in and then separate the rows and then cut it. Because sometimes if I'm not paying attention, I'll just keep on going. I'll keep on sewing. I'll just keep on going. There we go. Let's take these out. If you've not yet followed me on YouTube, please follow me on the YouTubes. So I apparently now meet all the requirements of YouTube partnership except for followers. So I was like, oh, well, I didn't realize that could be a thing. So I just need more YouTube followers, and then I can get partnered on YouTube. So if you haven't yet, please hit that follow button on YouTube. Please share it. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you've not yet followed me on YouTube, please hit that lovely little follow. Or sub. It's sub on YouTube. All the different terminology. A sub on YouTube is like a follow on Twitch. So please sub to me on YouTube. There we go. Thank you very much, Nikki. I appreciate it. There we are. There's row number 4. It's funny. I thought this is the hardest block because of all of the beginning stuff. I actually thought that this block was going to take longer because of the extra pulling and everything. But because there's less sewing in the beginning and less cutting of pieces, it looks like it's going to be right on target with the 5 o'clock. Now, next week's block. Next week, we have our Light Mage block that's inspired by the Final Fantasy White Mage. So next week, thank you, Kabuki and Marin. I appreciate that. So next week, it's actually a pretty simple block. It's pretty easy. The rest of the blocks from here on out are pretty easy. I think the hardest of the 3 is the duck, is the hunting duck. Let's see, we've got that. And here's row number 3. But the Light Mage and the Death Whale are actually pretty easy. Pretty darn easy. So if you're looking for a simple block, you can do those. I wonder why my alerts didn't pop up with my YouTube sub. Oh well. All right, 2 more rows to sew, and then we'll do some ironing. Any questions on quilting, sewing, tips in general? I like how the weeks go on, you guys are getting quieter and quieter, which is fine, which is fine. I know a lot of people are lurking and either making blocks or doing other crafts and other things. And normally on my Twitch streams, when I do all those giveaways, I make them come out of lurk because of that, because they have to say something. There we are. All right, row number 2. I only have 1 more. Now, the second pass. Now, remember, every single time I go through and I sew up, I call that a pass. So this is pass. This is the first pass where I'm just going through and sewing. And that's another thing that I learned. Whenever I did make all the things, yeah, make all the things. Whenever I used to quilt and try to figure out and do the original designs and everything, I would sew, iron, sew, iron. I would pin, sew, iron. Pin, sew, iron. And I would do 1 row at a time. I learned it's more efficient, the more you can do of something at a time. So if you're able to lay all the pieces out and pin all the pieces at the same time, or iron all the pieces at the same time, or sew, if you're able to do everything all at the same time, it's more efficient and you can get more done. There we are, and last but not least, row number 1. Now when I'm home in my studio for blocks number 12 and for the assembly, you'll be able to see the close-up of my machine so you can see exactly how I'm sewing these. Or if you want to take a look back at blocks, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think are all in my studio. There we are, and then now I want to free block number of the row number 1 because I want to be able to sew and pin them all at the same time. So I'm going to take my scrap fabric, and I'm doing what's called chaining. So I have something constantly in my machine at all times, and then I separate my chained pieces with my purple thing. Okay, I can set aside my purple thing. Oops, I don't want to put that up yet. I still have to take the pins out. Sounds right? Yes, yes it does. There we go. All right. There's row number 1. So let's switch cameras and slide everything back, just like that. In fact, you know what? Let me bring it out just a touch so you can see that top row. That is perfectly fine. All right. I need my instructions again. All right, so at this point, 3 to 7. Oh, okay, so blocks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right, yes. Yes, that's right. Okay, yes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I was at home. That's right, because 1 and 2, I was here. Yep, that makes sense. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm laying out all of my pieces. I'm going to iron them like this. What I am doing is I'm locking the seam. It helps with stretching as you do this. So I'm ironing my seams up, because remember what I said, I didn't touch these. Because of the way that I pin them, they're already in place so that my seams are correct. All right, and then now this is row number 9, so I'm going to the right and picking up that last piece and that's laying it down. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Now remember what I said, we have our lonely little piece here that needed some time out because he lots and lots of crowds. Had to be by himself for a bit. That's okay, but this is the second pass. We have to make sure that we include this lonely piece, and I have an odd number. If I just start pinning these together, this is going to be left out again. Now this is important whenever you are piecing things for larger quilts. You don't want little pieces being left out everywhere. You want to include them as much as you can. So in this case, I'm leaving this first piece alone. I'm not touching it, and I'm going to combine the second and the third pieces. Okay, my seams go to the right, so I'm going to pick up that right piece, flip it over that left piece. I'm going to pin the center first because there's a seam, even if I don't have to line it up with another seam, and then lay it down. So right over left, and now I'm including that little lonely piece that is no longer lonely. It's now part of the group. And that first piece that's already been part of the group, that's already been combined, is off on its own. Okay, let's do row number 8. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is lock in those seams. those of you that are eyeing my iron, the lovely pink color, I don't believe this is available anymore. This is a short time special edition iron that they made. I actually bought it for my mother and gave it to my mother. It was to raise awareness and money for breast cancer. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this goes to the left. So seams in row number 8 go to the left. But you can get all sorts of other colors, just like the purple one, which is my favorite. I love that purple color. All right, let's make sure that my pieces are all good. I haven't flipped anything. Nope, everything looks good. All right, so we're going to the left, and we have 5 pieces. I have a lonely piece. I have to make sure I include this one. So this first one, I'm going to leave out. I'm going to include these 2. Arrow goes to the left, so left over right. Oops, come here. Line yourself up. There we go, and pin that into place. Left over right. And pin that into place. There we are. There's the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's lock our seams. Okay, and then iron them up. I didn't used to lock my seams, and I saw a lady in my quilt guild that did that for a charity event that we were doing. Okay, so row 7 is to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make sure everything is correct. Yes. Yep. Okay, and I have a lonely piece I need to include, and there's 5 pieces. I'm leaving that alone, and it's right over left and pinned into place. So I asked her, I said, why do you lock your seams in? Like, why are you ironing that? And she goes, well, it locks the seams. I was like, well, what does that mean? She says, I don't know. I was just told that I have to do it. It's like, but why? She goes, I don't know, I just do it. So I had to look it up online because I'm like, why would I do something unless I know the reason behind it? Because to me, I want to be as efficient as possible, and that adds an additional step that you have to do. But I was like, but if it's good, if it's something I need to be doing, I want to include it, I want to do it. So I looked it up. The reason why you lock your seams is it helps with stretching. So your natural inclination for the fabric whenever you do this, whenever you iron up, is to have this fabric stretch and warp out of place. And locking those seams like that actually helps with the stretching. And that's a problem that I have always had. I've always had the problem that my fabric wants to stretch and warp and go in different directions. So I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. So I still forget it now and then. Okay, row 6 goes to the left. I still forget it now and then, but for the most part, I try to remember to do it. And I find that my pieces warp less. Okay, let's check row number 6. So it is, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now, we have no lonely little pieces for this row, but I still have an odd number of rows. In order to be consistent, I'm leaving out this first piece, and I'm gonna start sewing the rest together, because I want to make sure each pass is consistent with the pieces that I leave out. Because if I were to leave out the last piece, I may confuse it and think it's the first piece, and that's how I flip pieces sometimes. Whoops. There we are. It is left over right, and pin it into place. So the locking the seams is actually a good idea. And I do try to do that now, and I'm finding that my pieces are warping and stretching less than what they used to. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is something that I try to do now. we are. 2, 3, 4. And this is 1, 2, 3. So 9, 8, 7, 6. Row 5 is to the right. There we are. Okay, let's double check and make sure, because I have a horrible habit of flipping pieces. I always check. Yes. Again, 5 pieces, so I leave out that first piece. And row number 5 is to the right, so right over left, and pin it into place. So anything going on in the quilt or sewing world, or any questions on what I'm doing with this pattern or with quilting or sewing in general, right over left. I know, I talk so much on so many different things. You guys are like, but you told us this already. We know this already. And that's why you don't have questions, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, this one's gonna need an extra pass. It's gonna need an extra bit of, oops. There we go, let's fix that, there we are. And let's sew this. There we go. Perfect. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have an odd number, and this is row number 4, so it's going to the left. So this will probably need another pass in addition. Whoops. Uh-oh. I'm getting, that's not good. I am getting water on my cutting mats. I think because I don't want to do that because it could warp the cutting mats. Yep, sure enough, I am. Okay. My steam is just too good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to move this beside it and have a little bit of a gap. There we go. And let's move these over. And that should prevent it. And then let me wipe up the water that I do have. Oh, I was starting to lay that out. I was like, why is this different? There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, always be aware of what's going on with your stuff. All right, this is row number 4. So 4, this is to the left. I believe I have 7 pieces. Okay, let's make sure everything is here. There. Yep, everything is there. Okay, leaving that first one, row 4 is to the left, so I'm picking left over right. Now, it's got, Sapphire, thank you so much for that, host. I appreciate you. There we are.
Thank you for subscribing to Quiltoni.
Sapphire!
Factory.
Sapphire, thank you so much for that 16-month resub. I super appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know you've been subbed to me for over a year. It's almost been a year and a half. And hi, how are you today? There we are, because we want to make sure, remember, we want to include this lonely little piece into row number 4. All the love. Don't you love how, like, my braid kind of, like, hangs down and swings in here sometimes? I noticed that earlier. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, this one's got another one. This one's got 7 too. So this one's also going to have another pass. I'm purposely trying to keep my iron away. No, no, my braid's not distracting at all. I'm trying to keep the iron away from that area with the steam, because that's the thing, is the alisos have such great steam. Now, if you want a great iron, if you don't like the fact that it's got the automatic thing, if you like putting your iron like this, you can totally do that too. They have a button in the back that turns on and off the automatic. I just really like it because it reduces wrist strain. Which is why I'm super excited to get their travel iron. It doesn't have the mechanics to go up and down like this one does, but it's an aliso, which means it's going to be great. I already picked up a Yazzie bag that I can put it in too. All right, row 3 goes to the right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to leave that first one alone, right over left, and pin it into place. So far, I have 2 rows. They're going to need some extra love and an extra pass. Good afternoon, enthusiasts. How are you today? Okay, right over left. Pin it into place. All right, row number 2. It is going wonderful. We are on block number 9 already of our quilt along. Oh, here's another. Oh, this one only has 6. So this only needs 1 more pass and it's good. We are getting there. We are getting there with the quilt along. And I know, Thusius, you are going to Dragon Con, correct? So, Sundays from now until Dragon Con, Sunday mornings are bling all the things. So Sunday mornings are basically going to be working on our Dragon Con things and mostly just blinging things for Dragon Con. This past Sunday, I don't know if you can see it very, oh, you know what? I forgot, I did this. Look at what I did. I did it close up so you can see it. Look at what I did. Oh, wait, of course all the emotes have to go away. So this is what we did yesterday. We blinged this shirt. So I've got bling all over this yesterday. And we played with it. You can see how it looks. And I'm taking your views. Oh, you want to take photos? Ooh. Ooh, maybe? Would you charge us money for the things? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great, I don't have to worry about leaving anything out. And it goes to the left, so I go left over right and pin it into place. Ooh, in that case, yes. I would love it. Are you going to Bunny Hutch, or do we need to find you someplace else? Because don't you normally go to the 8-bit ball? Bunny Hutch is Thursday nights before Dragon Con. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you have no clue what I'm talking about. There is a party that happens every Thursday before Dragon Con called the Bunny Hutch, where you look up. I know, right, Sapphire? Is it not freaking awesome? I'm thinking of putting a wholesale order and bringing some bling to sell at Dragon Con too. So Bunny Hutch is basically a party where you dress up as a Playboy bunny or as a Hugh Hefner. But you have to you have to actually blend it with something else. So you have to actually put it with something else. So we actually are having a bunny hutch group of fast food. And of course, I'm going to be a Wendy's bunny, because why not? All right, row number 1 is to the right. So I will have all the pictures on my Facebook page and my social media. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, to the right, so I take right over left and pin it into place. So it's technically, it's one of 2 big parties that kicks off Dragon Con. So there is an 8-bit ball, and then of course the bunny hutch. So basically, big party Thursday night. It'll be a lot of fun. Sounds good. All right, so I've got that. Now, let's go ahead and pin this. I'm going to take this. We're going to drag it on down. Oops. Man, this iron is just too powerful. It has steam everywhere. It is just too powerful. Ugh. All right, let's go ahead and sew them. Now, this one is going to take a lot less time going through the second pass because I don't have half as much time. Yes, Mr. Starna, I do. The ironing pad that you see right there is the Alpha Travel Combined pad. So it's actually a small cutting mat and ironing pad all in one. And that is what I use to travel. Whenever I do events or special things, I always bring it with me so that I know I always have a cutting mat and an ironing board. Oops. Well, that's interesting. It wouldn't move anymore. You guys want to guess what happened? Didn't break. Nope, didn't hit a pin. Yeah, so that is a special one. So it doesn't actually go to the cutting mat part of it because there's an ironing board that's attached with it. Nope, didn't hit a pin. Apparently, I must have been rubbing against this part right here, which is the tightening screw. If I had my close-up camera, you could see exactly what's happened. Basically, my needle fell off because it loosened up. Oh, let me tighten that up. The needle just fell off. No, I had to put the feed dogs down. My needle fell off. Look, and all I did was attach it back on and tighten it up, and it's good to go. Nothing. You don't have to do anything. There we go. Oh, but you know what I forgot? I forgot to cut these off. But that's okay. That is okay. Remember how I said I forget to pull it off sometimes? At least in this stage, it's not as hard to figure out because there's only a couple of pieces. And I may have totally bought a second cutting mat, a second Martelli cutting mat, just so it's easier to square up the piece at the end. Oh, maybe throwing pins. There we go. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we are. I'm having issues reaching them. I'm having issues. I never have issues, right? There we go. All right. See how much faster This goes whenever it's half the number of pieces you're sewing. Now, of course, I'm not using my purple thing, my my Gypsy Quilter purple thing that separates my chained pieces, because there's only been 2 pieces at a time. And I have to use my scissors to separate it from here anyways. So it's actually faster and more efficient to just cut them. Oh, now I gotta stand up and move over. So, I broke my knee. Remember what I told you about don't sew over your pins? Yeah, that just happened. So, let me very carefully take the pieces of this needle. Very carefully, they're still here. Put them right there. I don't know where the other piece went. It's around here somewhere. And yep, I've got to throw that pin away. And let's grab some more needles. I'm going to grab one of these. Okay, let's put this in here. There we go. And let's thread it. Perfect. Now, when I thread my needle, I always put my presser foot down. That way I have a bigger area that I can poke through the hole with my thread. Oh, it's wrapped around itself. Why you do that to me? Don't do that. Don't wrap around yourself. There you go. You're in there now. All right, let's start this over. So yeah, so I hardly ever break my, my needles on my pins, but it does happen now and then. I immediately close my eyes. It hit me right here. I can actually feel where it hit me. Oh no, sapphire. Yeah. Some days. You mean like last Tuesday, whenever the internet went down twice? And the batteries went dead in my microphone twice. Some days. Yes, I know. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses and I don't. But that's okay. It hardly happens. It happens like once every few months. And you know, with as much sewing as I do, that's not very often. But that is why I say, don't do what I do. Do as I say. Because you don't want that to happen. You don't want that pin to go into your eye. It's not a good thing. It is not a good thing. I know. Oh, I know. I live dangerously. All right, last but not least, row number 1. We're getting there, guys. Look at that. It's only 3:37. We are ahead of schedule. And hopefully the more blocks you make, the faster it's going to get for you. It's normally me that moms everyone too, which is funny. Okay. All right. And let's clear. Let's free number 1. Come on, get in there. There we go. I probably need to get another scrap soon. That one's almost completely sewn through. All right. Here is row number 1. So let's do this. And let's slide this back over. Perfect, perfect. Okay. We can move this up a touch. Wonderful. All right, so let's do our ironing. Let's do our ironing. You guys like that? You like that look? There we are. Okay, so this is row number 9, so it goes to the right. Now we have 3 pieces. When you're down to 3 pieces, it's a lot easier if you take the 2 on the side and flip them in on that center piece. Okay, so let me show you. Here is our center piece. Here is our 2. We're going to flip them in like this. So we're going to flip in the left and pin it into place. And then I'm going to flip in from the right and pin it into place. There we are, and then there's row number 9. Yeah, this is my favorite part too. So my absolute favorite part of the block assembly is when we can start to see the picture. So when we're assembling the rows. Okay, this is row 8. It goes to the left. Making sure I didn't flip anything. Nope. Okay, so we're going to take that left piece, flip it over the right, because we're down to 3 pieces again. So we want to make sure that we go left into the center and right into the center. It really, really is, Sapphire. It is super rewarding to be like, oh my gosh, look, I did this thing, it's starting to look like a picture. Now, this one is longer than that center piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in. Because we want to make this efficient, right? We don't want to be blocking any of our sewing area and accidentally sew something we're not supposed to. So to avoid that, it's easy to just fold it in. There we go. Okay, here's row number 7. There we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. This is to the right. Fantastic. Oh, that's right. I'm like, why would I not do a tan and green here and then do a blue-green? It's because there is no other blue-green in all of the quilt, so that's why I broke it up the way that I did. Yep. Okay, so this is another set of 3. So I'm going to take left over the center. And then right over to the center. There we are. Let's lay these out. Now, if anybody is going to Dragon Con, if you would like me to have any bling there for you to purchase, excuse me, please let me know the colors. I'm thinking of just silver and purple for right now. So just the clear and the purple. All right, so this is 9, 8, 7, 6. Row 6 is to the left. And this is also with the more complicated patterns, trying to make sure that you didn't flip any pieces gets harder and harder. Now, it's going to be easier whenever we do the rows. Okay, and again, this is longer, so I'm going to fold it in. When we get to the rows, it's actually easier because you can look right at the rows and go, does this work? Yes. Because right now we're on page number 3. When we hit page number 4, it's easier to see all of the rows themselves after we finish actually combining these. There we go. and this is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, row 5 to the right. Now I always have to check the way that the seams go because I want to make sure I don't flip any of the whole pieces upside down, which I've done before. Okay, now this I have to make sure my seam nests up in there and then put a pin in it. Always, always, always do seams that line up together first. Always, always, always. Because that is your most important thing. You want to try to get those perfect points. So always try to line those up. There we go. And this is row 4, so this is to the left. Oops, that's right. Nope, that's the first piece. See, I almost picked it up and used it as my last piece. I almost messed up. But because I put this step in to double check to make sure that my pieces are the way they're supposed to be, I flip pieces and I put pieces in wrong places less. Okay, so this is to the left. I have 4 pieces, so I do need another pass with this. So I'm going to pick up my left piece, flip it over my right piece, and put it into place. There we are. And this is 1, 2, 3. I flipped it over by accident. You always know if it's the correct direction if your seams are pointing down. So if your seams point down, what you can see on top, you know you've done it correctly, because after you iron it, they all point up. Okay, this is row 3. This is to the right. Same thing. It looks like, look, there's an eyeball. There's an eyeball. It looks like everything is good. There we are. Okay, so to the right, I'm going to take right over left and pin it into place. Now, for those sewers out there, if you're interested in watching me make mats of holding and dice bags, I will be doing exactly that this Thursday. So Thursday, I'm making mats of holding and dice bags out of the fabric that Anriel sent me, which is pretty cool fabric. I've got rainbow fabric, I have Legend of Zelda fabric, and I have Harry Potter Hufflepuff fabric that she sent me. In addition, I do have a very, very special DragonCon themed fabric I'm going to be using as well. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and this is to the left. Uh-oh. Is it out of order? Did I pick it up out of order? I did. I picked it up out of order. Uh-oh. No. Crap! You see what I did? I sewed together my beginning and my end. These are not supposed to be sewn together at all. All right, seam ripper. Seam ripper, how I love you. Oh, seam ripper. All right, so my favorite seam ripper in the entire world is made by Seam Fix. I am going to be having a very special seam ripper for sale at DragonCon. It is going to be a double-sided Seam Fix seam ripper. So you have 2 different little eraser things, and you have your normal seam ripper size and a miniature, smaller hook for smaller size things on the right. So I will be selling these. If they sell well and people like them, I will bring them to New York Comic Con as well. There we we go. All right, so the first thing I want to do is iron these flat. And then I want to pull out, let's close my seam ripper. And this is why I love the seam ripper so much, because I can easily get out all of my little threads. Okay, so chat, why is it important to remove all of these little tiny little threads? Why is that so important? All right, so this is to the left, so this goes that way. And this is why I lay it all out the way that I do, because I want to make sure I don't do stupid things like you just saw me do. It really is so important. All right, so the left over right, because the arrow goes to the left, and pin it into place. That is one reason, Jose. It doesn't clog up your machine. I mean, it's not really going to leave it to go into the machine. Anyone else have any idea? They get stuck in the sewing? Yes, Sapphire, that is it. They get stuck in the sewing. So you're going to get these, if you don't get rid of it, all these little pieces of thread are going to get stuck in your seams and get stuck in your actual sewing. And what happens then is you have problems. You have problems. You need to get rid of the little tiny threads. All right, and this is to the right. And yeah, that one's easy. I know I've got that one right. All right. So it looks like I have 3 rows because of my mistake too. I have 3 rows that I need to continue on. So I'm just going to move them over here. 1, 2, 3. And then that way, it's easy for me to just do this. To just go 1, now, Sapphire, I want you to be honest. Did you know that answer because you've done it? Have you left the threads and had them get stuck in your sewing and then you get frustrated? Or have you always been good and always removed the threads and just didn't quite know why?
Congratulations, you have just followed Quilt Holy.
Oh, I don't have the follow-up. I mean, I'm always good. Oh, really? 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 You're always good? All right, let me get let me walk up and go all the way over. Oh, man. I've got to come all the way over here. Oh, I didn't even open upstream labels. Man, what is up with me? I got to thank the follows, right? I got to thank the follows. Ellie Sab, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to our quilting quilt-along stream. Quilt-along streams happen on Mondays. Right now, Monday, Thursday, Sunday is the schedule. Thursday and Sundays are goof around regular streams that we give away pixels. Why is that a pro strimmer moment? Why is that a pro strimmer moment? Yes, I know, Sapphire, right? We all make mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. And that's the thing. Everyone's going to make a mistake, no matter who you are. If you deny making mistakes, probably not someone I want to be friends with. But how you handle your mistakes and how you handle issues is what defines you as a person. Okay, let's go back. And we're going to re-iron and repin these last 3 that we've just done. All right, and this is row number 4 to the left. That looks correct to me. Okay, left over right. Pin it into place. Hey, hey, hey. We knew that this was going to be a stream where I was going to forget something. I mean, we really can't top me forgetting those pins. I mean, let's truly be honest, right? You can't top forgetting those pins. And if I had stream labels up earlier, I would have seen that somebody had bought the Words Are Hard mug. And I wouldn't have thought it was a YouTube sub. So, you know. All right, to the right. There we go. And then row number 2, last but not least. And then comes my favorite part. We get to start assembling the rows. I love this part so much. See, if I could handle 3 cameras on my laptop, I would. Yeah, look at that. I would have a camera on the ironing board, and then a camera on the mat, and I would separate them a little bit more. It is my favorite time. It is, Ellie! Exclamation iron if you want to see information on it, and a discount code if you want one yourself. It actually is, oh, Nikki's already, look at Nikki. She's already on top of it. The Oliso actually helps with iron strain. So I'm a professional quilter, so this is what I do every day, all day long. So with your normal iron, if you do this over and over and over, the strain on your wrist will eventually give you arthritis. This iron actually has a touch sensor. So whenever I push it down, it goes down. And when I let go, it goes up again. So it is less strain on my wrist, especially whenever I iron over and over and over. And they're great irons too. Like, seriously, great irons. I purchased this one. I did not get this for free. I am not making any money, 0 money off of that discount code. I am not an affiliate with them. I just negotiated a code for you. So I recommend them because I love them so darn much. There we go. Okay, so in this case, I am grouping up my rows. In this case, I want to make sure that the one that is pinned on both sides is on top of that one. And you'll see why whenever we start doing it. The special seam ripper. Yes, Sapphire, are you going to be at Dragon Con? It is a fantastic seam ripper, and I love it. And I will have them at Dragon Con because they're awesome and fantastic. Oh, hail hydration, thank you. Hail hydration. If you can wait until after New York Comic Con, if you can wait until November, I will be putting them up on my store. So I'll be selling them on my store, whatever is left over from Dragon Con and New York Comic Con. If you can wait that long. It's a brand new product. So I don't know how much is out there right now. The double-sided one, I mean. There we go. Now, because I have sewn it on, I've pinned it on both sides. I pinned the one side, and I'm turning it over. So doing a 180 and sewing the other side. So this is what is making it more efficient so that we can do it faster. There we go. And now let's grab the next one. Now, I am sewing these in groups of 2 because this is how I am pinning them together. There we go. And let's separate these. Let's finish sewing this. I hope so. I really hope so. we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let me pull these pins out. There we go. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do that one yet. I want to do these. I'm getting ahead of myself, and I started pulling those out there. Oh, yeah, no, it's, yeah, Spain is bad. Yeah, yeah, go to Spain. There's always next year. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I talk about the conventions I do quite often. And depending upon what you like, what you enjoy, there are 3 different conventions that I highly recommend. If you enjoy board gaming or tabletop gaming, crafting, or just the geek culture in general, Gen Con is my number 1. It is my favorite convention. It is the one I always, always, always recommend. It's fantastic. Then my number 2, if you like video games, is MagFest. I really, really enjoy MagFest. They have a room of open gaming 24 hours a day from the start to the end of the convention. Oh, I don't need to do that. I can take these pins out. Let me grab the next one. And then my number 3 is Dragon Con. If you like people watching and you love seeing cosplay, if you like geek culture, or if you like celebrity autographs, that is what Dragon Con is for. It's a pretty cool convention. I really enjoy it. But if you want more details about any of those conventions, you want more talk about it, stuff like that, feel free to pop in on one of my other Twitch streams and ask me live, and I'd be more than happy to talk about it. Oops. That one's there. Look at me almost messing everything up. Now, this last one, this right here is row number 1. I'm going to leave this in my machine because this is our lonely little row. We have an odd number of rows. So this is the one I'm leaving out, so I'm leaving it out for right now. All right, let's push this down. And let's move back over here. There we are. So those are our 4 sets of rows. Yes, or you could talk about Discord too. That's always an option. All right, let's iron rows number 9 and row number 8. Now, make sure, as you iron your row, make sure you're pulling on it to make sure you're maximizing the entire space. This is going to help you whenever you square your block up, okay? So make sure that you maximize it. So in this case, see how I'm lifting my row up as I am ironing. And I'm making sure the entire thing is being maximized. All right, and then the seams go to the left. Look, there's our first 2 rows. He has feet. He has feet. All right, I'm gonna take the bottom row, flip it up over the top row, and then I'm going to pin it in place. Now, how I'm going to pin this is I'm going to line up those nested seams. Remember I said pin the seams that join together first. Once you do that, you can go back and pin the other ones. Welcome back, Amasella. All right, let's pin this. So that's where it joins up. And then I'm going to ease the rest of this together so it's not going to be grouped up. Just like that. And is this one match up? Yep, that is a seam that matches up. Oh, this one too. Let's get this in there. Let's make sure our seam is right on in there. And then I'm going to go back and pin that one. Oh, there's another one right here. I'm using my fingers to feel for the seams that are underneath. So we've got one here. And we've got one there. And there. And there. And there. Now, this whole row is completely done, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it and I'm going to set it. Oh, you know what? That's right. Hold on. How am I going to do this? How am I? I'm going to do these opposite, right? Because this one is going to be the one that's going to get left out the next time. So I'm going to turn it and actually put it right here. So it's the farthest one away. Yes, because my machine's over there. Okay, that sounds good. I'm talking to myself, deciding what I want. This is perfectly natural. Okay. Let's iron these seams. And this is row number, let's see, 7 and 6. Oh, yes, and thank you very much for those of you that signed up for Wink. If you can just go to my Discord, go to my Twitch channel and you type in wine or Wink. If you sign up, let's see, this is row number 6, isn't it? Yes, this is row number 6. If you sign up for a wine of the month, you send me a free bottle of wine. They are fantastic. And I actually just opened in my unboxing stream last Thursday, I just opened a box of 4 wines that were sent to me because so many people signed up. 4 additional people signed up, so I got some more wine. That doesn't look like much, does it? Trust me, it will look like more. In fact, you know what, let me go down and look at the rows. It will look like more whenever we get there. So I'm on page number 4 right now. Yep, nope, that's right. Nothing flipped. That is correct. So I'm going to take this bottom, I'm going to flip it up and pin it into place. And it's actually, hello Evil Knights, it's actually affordable wine too. The average bottle of wine on that site is $15 to $17. And you can get shipments of just 2 bottles. If you get 4 bottles a month though, it's free shipping. It's interesting because I do have a family-friendly PG channel. Some people come on and they say, wait, you're talking about alcohol. So, no, I'm talking about wine. It is a well-known fact that quilters love wine. We love, love, love our wine. In fact, I have a wine glass that actually has different quilt sayings on it. So depending upon how much you fill your wine up for the wine glass, it'll actually say, you know, you're having fun, you have a flipped block, you know, you throw it all, you know, everything's now scraps. It's a really cool glass of wine. And there is a big difference between alcohol and quilters and wine. All right, set that aside. For all of those quilters out there, you know what I'm talking about. All right, we've got that. I have not had any wine since Quilt Market in May. Do you know how excited I am to now I have these 4 bottles of wine that Wink sent me that I can bring them with me to Dragon Con and I can drink some wine? Very excited, very excited. Okay, all right, next up, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is that, goes to the right. So this is going to the left. Yep, that looks good. That looks correct. Now, this one, you can actually start to see the picture of the sword coming up. Yes, and Sapphire is absolutely correct. You can skip as many months as you want. There's no commitment. So if you sign up for a single month, you send me a bottle of wine, basically, for signing up for that single month, and you get money off. And if you decide that, you know what, this isn't for me, you can cancel it. Or if you decide that, you know what, I don't want wine for 3 months because I'm not drinking any wine right now, you can put a stop on those 3 months. It's a great club. I love it. I like how my Quilt Along stream is now talking about wine. All right, let's go ahead. Remember, we are figuring out which seams line up and then going back and pinning everything else. Oops. Oops, did I miss one? I did. This one is a seam join. All right, so this one's a little wonky, so I'm going to spread it so that this top fabric lines up nicely. There we go. And then here, let's do that. And that, wonderful. And then we're going to set this aside. And last one. Perfect. Oh, thanks, Nikki. Yes, I do have my amazing Martelli mats. I am going to become an affiliate with them. I just haven't contacted them or set anything up yet, although I will. So if you would like an amazing cutting board, feel free to get one now, but if you can wait, please wait. Because once I get my affiliate stuff set up, you can get a discount code. Oh, he's got a face. Yes, I am going to I'm going to set up, so I'm an affiliate with Martelli. And we actually had a discussion at Quilt Market in May. And they invited me to the program, and I said I would love to. And they gave me their card to fill out everything. And I went, awesome, I will do this. And I haven't gotten around to it. Okay. Probably September. When I get back home again to Ontario and I go through my business cards and I know who to contact again, I will totally do the thing. There we are. Okay, there are no other seams that line up, so I'm just going to put pins in all of the single seams. Single seam is where one side has a seam and the other side has just regular fabric. You want to make sure that you put pins in those as well, because while you're sewing it, you don't want the seams to flip back over. Amacella, remind me at the end of the stream. I will pick, when we're done squaring our block up, actually, you know what? Maybe I can do it right now, because I don't want to forget. You want to see how thick this mat is? That is how thick this mat is. It is like 3 times as thick as a normal mat. So it is a double-sided mat, but it's a super extra thick, strong mat. Like, it is freaking amazing. And I don't have to worry about this warping. Like, I had this laying in a way that it was starting to curl, and I laid it back down, and the weight of it basically flattened it back out again. I do not have to worry about that. Nikki, no, I have it. Yeah, it's Tony proof. Yes, it is Tony proof, and that's the thing that concerns people, is if something is Tony proof or not. Because let's be honest, I destroy everything. I destroy everything. Why is my main... Oh, there it goes. It wasn't changing cameras. To answer the question that you put in Mod Chat, Nikki, I wrote it up yesterday and sent it to Miss Elvain, who is looking at it tonight. And then she's going to, when she takes a look at it, I'm going to put it in Mod Chat. So, okay. At this point, I am going backwards. So, oh, those are my pins. Oh, aw, thanks, Sapphire. I super appreciate that. I work very, very, very hard. I only recommend products that I use myself and that I love. Like, I seriously only recommend that stuff. Because I want people to be happy with what they use. I want them to be happy with their products. All right, so I'm going to sew this to this. So remember, this is my lonely little strip. I'm going to sew it to my combined strip that I put right here. And that's why when I pinned it, I did it opposite. So that now I'm going to sew these two together. And then that one's going to be lonely and left out by itself. All right, so let's separate that and put that there. No! And that's what I mean on Marcella. It's one of those things that every single mat I've had in the past, like I've got a smaller one of these, it's a travel one that I love. That's actually, I was using on my streams on Thursday and yesterday. It is amazing and I love it. And I have not, I've traveled with that, like all over the place. It was in my truck the entire time I was at Gen Con. And we know how hot it was getting at Gen Con. It never worked. Now, I can't promise it won't work one day. I have never had them work for me. So I haven't had that issue with this. And I always have that issue with all the other ones. Because they're so thin, it's easy to warp them. This baby is so thick and nice. I love it. They're expensive, though. They are expensive mats. So that's the only thing, is they're about 3 times the cost of any mat. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to be putting it in by itself. I am not going to be sewing it to anything else at this moment. Freeing these. So it is, I truly believe, though, that I will never, ever have to buy another mat in my life. I think this is going to be my last mat purchase ever. Like, and normally yeah, exactly. So normally I rotary cut so often that I have to replace my mat every year or two. Like even with the rotary cutting, like I'm looking at this mat, I have to actually take my fingers. Like I still can't, oh, here's a little, no. The self-healing of these mats is just amazing. So they did give me, not this one, I purchased a second one. I purchased this one because I forgot it in Canada. So the one I have in Canada, they gave me. Because they said, hey, we want you to try this out. We want you to be a champion of our brand. And I was like, yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing. And I love it. I love it so much. All right, let's iron this and sew them together. All right, ready? Ready? Favorite part, favorite part. Oops, oops. I still had it trapped in there. There is the top. I'm gonna lay. Yeah, and it's just a really, really, really cool thing. And because I've been using their rotary cutter for years and years and years. Well, no, not years and years. A year and a half. I've been using the rotary cutter for a year and a half. Because Corsic Props sent me one. And they set up a discount code for it. So, which is it's a company that does cosplay stuff. So it's super, super cool. It is, it's an amazing rotary cutter, and I love it. And that's what turned me on to Martelli. And I love their stuff so much. There we are. And there's a link. All right, so we're going to take this. We're going to fold this down. Let me flip. And let's pin. Now, the reason why I flip this to pin this way, yeah, it's board, because mat is the is a thing for the GIF whenever I have it on when I'm not traveling for GIF bot. So yeah, it's board. I know you would think it's supposed to be mat, but mat actually brings up the information for the mat of holding. I should change that. I should change the mat of holding to something else and then change this to mat. But like I said, they're expensive. So in the affiliate program, I am going to ask for a discount code. If that means that I get nothing in return, that I do not get a percentage of the sales, that is okay with me. Because I would rather pass on a discount to you guys, and you know I'm 100% honest with everything I do. I will tell you if I got something for free. I will tell you if I'm making money on stuff. Like the iron. I make zero money on the iron. They wanted to set me up as an affiliate, and I said, no, no, no. I would rather have a discount code that you guys can use. Yes, this one can be the Energizer Bunny. My one in Canada is purple. Yes, so this can be the Energizer Bunny. I like that. This is my mom's iron. I bought this for my mom. So the oops, it goes this way. There we go. The one I have at home is Megatron because it's purple, and it's a transformer. So yes, so my mother's pink iron is now the Energizer Bunny. I like that. Because it's cute and it pinks, it's cute and pink and goes on and on and on. Oh, I forgot to ask at the beginning, how is the music volume? Is it okay? There we are. Remember how hard it was to see this one by itself? Whenever we attach it to that, we can start to see it. Now remember, if you do get a 25% off discount if you go to the Oliso site, and this goes for YouTube as well. If you go to oliso.com and type in the code QUILTONY, you get 25% off your iron. I do not know, so they did tell me that they were going to apply it to the brand new travel iron as well. I do not know if they're shipping travel irons yet. I have not gotten mine yet. I'm supposed to be getting one because they're going to send me one so I can do a review on it and let you know how I feel it is. I was one of the very first ones to hold a prototype 2 years ago of the travel iron. I cannot wait to show this to you guys. It is so cool and so amazing. Like, I seriously can't wait. Okay, let's sew these. We are down in the home stretch. We're in the home stretch. In the home stretch. Let's sew. And at all. But you know how excited I am. I for my travel iron. There we go. Good. Oh, nice. So you can order the mini irons? Fantastic. Yeah, they told me about 2-3 weeks ago that the code would work on the mini irons. So I don't know when the mini irons are shipping because, like I said, I haven't gotten mine yet. So I don't know if they're, I know that they were back ordered for a while because they're brand new, right? Whenever you have a brand new product, sometimes the factories can take a while in order to get you the initial run of products. So that's what they were waiting on. That's what the problem was. The factory was sending it to them. So a couple of weeks ago, they said that they had landed and they were starting to advertise them in distributors. So I don't know when they will become available, like I said. You can order them now, but I don't know when the shipping is. So I will, if you guys remind me on Thursday, check with me on the stream on Thursday. I'm going to email them when I remember and ask about it. I'll check the status of mine and check the status of all the others. So Nikki, back to the mod chat. It is, as soon as Miss Alvain proofreads it and goes through and we have a general idea of what I should say, I'll stick it in mod chat if you want to give me your opinion on it. I'm applying to do a thing. I'm applying to do a secret thing. And thanks for checking on that, Jose. I appreciate it. There we go. Oh, guys, you didn't tell me I forgot to switch cams. I forgot to switch cameras. Man, look at that. What do you think? All right, so just like we did with our 3 pieces before with our rows, we're going to take our bottom, flip it up, and I'm going to pin it into place. We only have 2 more lines of sewing. We only have to sew 2 more lines. And then our block will be finished, and it's just a matter of squaring it up. Once we square our block up, we will be finished. And block number 9 will be taken care of. There we are. Yeah, like I said, for the beginning, I was worried that this block was going to take longer because it is harder. However, we have pulled so much from previous blocks, there was not a lot that we had to cut. You know what I just thought of that I should order for Dragon Con is gridded fusible interfacing. I should totally buy packages of that to sell at Dragon Con if anyone's interested. There we go. All right, let's do this. Let's do our last 2 seams. Oh. All right, let's do it. So, Amasela, the question that they put in was if it makes much difference with the quilter sewing iron and the optimal steam. Personally, I have not seen too much of a difference between the irons. I have owned the white one. I've owned the yellow one, which is the top of the line. This pink one is supposed to be even better than the yellow one. And I recently got the purple one for the house. The yellow and the pink seem to give out more steam, but the purple's fine. So I don't think it's too much of a difference. There is a difference, but I haven't seen it really, and I don't know. Okay, so let's iron. Now, whenever you're ironing your rows together, so as you know, when you're sewing and ironing your pieces, you have to do it a certain direction because of nesting the seams. When you are putting your rows together, it does not make a difference which way you iron your seams. So you can iron your row any which way. You can iron it up, you can iron it down, you can iron your seams open. It does not make a difference at all. And there he is. Our block is finished. Now, let's go ahead and square this up. It is super important that you square your blocks up. Square them up, square them up, square them up, trust me. All right, so we want to square this to 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. I'm going to see where my lines are right here. And I'm going to line them up at a couple of different areas. Whoops, that one. Okay, that's lined up pretty good. That's the one's lined up. Okay, so that looks pretty square to me. And let's get it between the 0 and the 18. And this is why a large cutting mat makes this so much easier, because I can just do this. Let's lay this along the 18. There we go. And then now this side, I'm going to flip it and lay this perfectly flat. So this is perfectly lined up here. And then I'm going to lay this here. There we go. And let's turn him. And I'm going to make sure that it's perfectly lined up along the top and along that bottom. There we go. And then let's center it between the 0 and the 18. There he goes. And in this case, these are 18 by 18, Sancho. So this specific quilt along, each block is 18 inches by 18 inches. And then the finished quilt is going to be a double-sized quilt. There we are. So here, block number 9 is finished. So week 13 of the quilt along, we will actually be talking about assembly. So we'll actually be going through sashing and assembling your blocks together. Make sure before that stream, Sancho, all of that is in the pattern. So we followed a pattern, complete start to finish. So if you take a look at the pattern, everything is in the pattern for that. So all of the assembly, please make sure that you square your blocks up before we get to that last one. Before we get to, come on, there we go, before we get to that last stream. Because this one these blocks are a little bit different than my normal blocks and my normal patterns. But remember, you can always take a look at the blocks, exclamation quilt along to take a look at the block of the week. And you can always find the entire quilt along and all of the blocks available on my website, quiltoni.com. So that's it for today. We are done. Nikki, did you take a look to see who was strimming? Oh, Nikki, look at that. You are Ooh, oh. You know what? You know what? Sancho, in fact, that's what my book is for. I have a book that actually helps you figure out math and size of blocks in order to figure out any size that you want. I know where we're going to go for our raid today. Somebody that is a family-friendly streamer who normally doesn't stream this time of day. She normally streams in the evenings. The second one in your list, Nikki, let's try to do her next week if she's on. But today we're going to go to Debbie Cat. So we're going to go raid in a fantastic, awesome art streamer who's a wonderful family-friendly streamer. So if I'm on in a public place, you don't have to worry about turning it. She is fantastic and wonderful. It's right there, Amasella. If you look up, it's right there. So Nikki did the exclamation book for you. You can click on it and take a look there. Or if you go onto my website, quiltoni.com, when I have it up in October, November, you'll be able to buy a signed copy from me. So, all right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you are live with me, please stick around for the raid. Let's go give Debbie Cat some love. Thank you. I love you guys. I will see you. Why am I walking away? I've got my thing right here. I will see you at the Quilt-A-Long next Monday for regular Twitch streaming. I will see you Thursday night where we're going to do the giveaways from this stream, as well as talk about some sewing and some Dragon Con. I love you guys.